This week we looked at language, and I wanted to do two things, a roundup, but also add in some additional bits that it's quite difficult to get into those short videos that you actually have to run to about a minute, chop the head and tail, and you've got your roughly 58 seconds. Now there's not much you can convey in 58 seconds, hence the roundup. And for those of you that missed the shorts, obviously you can catch this and kind of get a snapshot of it and some additional stuff. So what did we cover with language? Well, let's wind it back. Words are a fundamental part of our existence. We think in words, we'll see imagery, there's words associated, or the words coming in create imagery in terms of movies and archived memories and stuff like that. Words from outside, people speaking to you, conversations, things that you hear, have the ability to create and change state. Now, wind back, think of how easily you have been snapped out of where you were based on bad news or an emergency situation. Now think of that sense of elation you felt when you passed your exam or you got the job. Something that you were maybe really worried about that basically came through for you, and instantly there's that massive sense of release, that euphoria. So we operate on this scale where literally a sentence can completely change how you feel in seconds. So the idea of language is, I think, a fundamental aspect to keep this in the brain area. What are you saying to yourself on a regular basis? Because as we know, words have consequences. What are you thinking? What's your internal dialogue? To what extent are you on your own team? Or even your best friend? Now I get it takes time to get there. Trust me, that is a long journey, particularly if you start it potentially at the bottom of the ladder. But you can make progress there, because you can start to talk to yourself and about yourself to other people better. So we looked at the inner critic and the negativity bias, which I would say largely live side by side and operate together based on a few million years of evolution and learning and adaptation, and have pretty much hardwired in the prerogative, which is survival. Now, safety is a huge part of survival. So what often happens here is anything new, anything that could be risky, anything that your brain, with the binoculars looking out of the bell tower for your safety, anything that says, no, not sure, it will convince you that this won't happen, you're not good enough, who are you kidding? And it will draw you back in to more sane ideas. However, we know that all the fun happens on the fringes, or at least by stretching and expanding your comfort zone. We also looked at the fact that the brain doesn't process a negative, and I cannot get through how important it is to understand this. So think of the campaign Don't Drink and Drive, indirectly telling you to get drunk and drive home. Let's have that word there. What's left? Drink and drive, drink and drive, drink and drive, don't drink and drive. It has exactly the same impact on your brain. It's a subliminal message that has consequences. It was changed to drink responsibly. It focused on the positive, it focused on the outcome. It didn't focus on the thing that you didn't want. Kids, don't touch this. What happens? You've all seen it. There's a big sign, wet paint, don't touch. And you do, and people do, and you see them, and it's like, feeling stupid, because it's a command. It welcomes you in, it entices you. Let me give you an example. Don't think of a bowl of fruit. Now, probably a bowl of fruit in your head. So what can you do based on that? So here's the thing. Let me expand this and bring it home to the fitness world. Now, I'll use my client's language. It's not aimed at shaming or offending or anything like that, but I shoot straight, and I'm here for impact and to give you stuff you can use. So to use the language of my clients. I hate being fat. I'm sick of the fat pig. I'm desperate to lose weight. and they're on pills and potions to manage what they've got, and quite often they're also on extra pills and potions to manage the side effects of the stuff they were initially on because of their condition. And I'll say to them, okay, you've told me your story, I get that, I appreciate that. What of that was positive and focused on health? And they sit there and literally this bomb drops and they say, Steve, nothing. I was angry at this, I was angry at that, I was desperate to change this, I didn't want to accept this, I hated who I was and how I was. And I said, okay, yeah, acceptance is a wonderful thing, because that then allows you to begin a journey rather than basically skirt around it saying no, 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 no. Boom, this is where you are, and once you accept that, you can move on. So what did they learn? When I think probably the best sentence I use here is that they're busy watering the weeds instead of growing the flowers. Let me expand on that a little bit. When you are angry that the fact that you're in debt, you're not focusing on making money, you're angry at the thing that you don't want, which is debt. When you keep saying, I hate being fat, you are not focusing on health and progress and goals. So is your shift by default, which it largely is, on the thing that you don't want? Because that's what happens. You will get more of it. You are focusing on it. It's a subliminal thing. If you are about to buy a new car that you want in red, you will start seeing them more than you did previously. So language has consequences, thinking has consequences. There's a timeline of thought and feeling, and that emotion then usually creates behaviors that have consequences, and we go around in a circle. You can change the channel when you understand the outcome of what it is you are thinking and saying and doing. So if you take one thing from this video in terms of language, focus on the extent to which you are still watering the weeds you hate, dislike, don't want, and are desperate to get rid of, and switch that across to the thing that you do want. A perfect example being choosing to focus on health rather than getting angry that you currently lack it. I hope that helps.